and again, I want to remind myself about what's the game plan here, because we get the strategy. It's a bulk play with some potential high grade upside, but you're drilling 50,000 meters. What do you expect it to be able to tell you? Because if you're going to put out a resource, you must have a number in mind.
That's right. So we're targeting multi-million ounces after this next round of drilling. In February of this year, we put out a mineral, or rather an exploration target. And this target was based on data from one of the 5 zones. And we put out a range of approximately 1.7 to 1.9 million ounces in one single zone, keep in mind. And that had an average grade of approximately 1.7 grams per ton gold. We believe with this next round of drilling, we can expand that zone, in addition, increase the grade of that zone, but also bring the 4 other zones into a mineral resource estimate. So the message in February was this was a baseline, a starter that we were looking to achieve, and we think we can move well beyond that potential.
Okay, and then obviously quickly following on from that, a PEA, you're getting a sense of the economics of this thing, especially in a gold bull environment. People are keen, funders are keen for people to get into production early. Are you tempted to try and accelerate it? Because you did talk about a fast track to production scenario with me in December. Is that still the plan?
That's right.
Right. So what does that look like?
Yeah, we are indeed fast tracking. In 2 years, we've advanced this project very, very quickly. Given that it's a brownfield type of play where there's a footprint of former production, that allows us to move much quicker towards a production scenario. With that 50,000 meters of drilling, we're also engaging on completing some metallurgy. We have First Nations agreements signed and in place. We're already preparing for additional work in order to complete that preliminary economic assessment. So all the boxes that we're ticking are geared towards completing as much as possible in a short time frame.
Okay, but that's kind of easily said, right? So a PEA tells you so much that no one's going to get interested in a company with a PEA unless it's showing something spectacular. There's a big room for error margin in a PEA. Where are you guys taking it through to, and what point do you exit?
Like any junior with a very good project, of course, we would like to exit if a major company came along and offered an attractive value to shareholders. And so this is always in the back of our mind, how we create and generate more value for the company. And so part of that is because we are road accessible and there is a footprint from former production, it allows us to move ahead much quicker, and such that we're not cutting new roads. There is some metallurgical numbers from the past. 93% gold and 78% silver is what they achieved 30 years ago. It's a sophisticated area with the First Nations. There's a world-class gold copper mine within 45 kilometers of our project. So this is a proven and prolific area where you can build a mine. And we believe that with our treasury set at just over $10 million, we can achieve these 3 milestones within about a 12-month period. And I think that's a remarkable feat, given we are working in Northern Canada. And we do not need to go back to the market to acquire or build more capital in order to get this done.
But I get what I'm trying to get at is at some point you will, unless you've decided what your exit point is, right? So you've got enough money to see through to the end of this year, and then you will need to go out, and if you are going to develop this yourself, you're going to need to raise some capital. But you're talking the language of someone who's building something for sale. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you know what your skill sets
absolutely.
are, and you know where you're going to take this thing through to, and you're building it to be attractive for someone else to finish the job.
No question. That is the response. We are building this to a scenario where we'd like to be taken out. Yeah. Look, our skill set within management is very good. Senior management's been involved in new discoveries. We have put mines into production. So we've gone the full cycle of discovery to development, construction, and then finally production. But the biggest win for shareholders here is to be on the path where you go from advanced project and then finally building it towards a large resource and then showing economics that are very viable. We think we've got all of those boxes ticked in a short time period. There's some cataclysmic major moments for us. And, I've mentioned them several times, but being able to fund and pay for these 3 events in a 12-month period is quite a success story. And we think, if shareholders and new shareholders look at the results we've seen over the past 2 years, it's an example of what can be achieved here. High grade that's embedded within large bulk tonnage type material at surface that can be recovered from very good results at the mill. And, we're looking forward to a robust year here with some very good news flow.
Okay, and tell me about what people would be buying. You're going to say we're going to build a large resource, we're going to have a PEA in place. What are some of the infrastructure components that are there? You talked about roads, I'm assuming power, water, all of that kind of good stuff. But what would someone be walking into?
So for a new suitor to be looking at this project, they would be looking, of course, as you said, access to site with roads that are already established. There's a large power line that goes to the Kemess copper mine, which is located 45 kilometers away. So there's potential for a tie-in point there. The topography of the project is very sort of undulating or flat rolling landscape. There's no trees. There's very little disturbance with environmental and wildlife matters. As I mentioned, we do have First Nations agreements signed. The First Nations groups have been very cooperative and working forward with us. Their interest here is simply to have good job training and to have new jobs into the future.
Okay. Any issues with licenses, permits? What are the kind of big red flags here?
We're fully permitted with a 5-year notice of work that allows us to do all the drilling that's needed.
Okay.
That was granted to us last year in 2019.
Okay.
There's at the moment there's no major obstacles other than we need to show these results, and given the results that we had over the past 2 seasons, I think this is not a pipe dream. This is a reality right now. This company has a $35 million market cap. We believe we're undervalued. And if we hit all these milestones, there's a chance for shareholders, not to make a double or a triple, but I think we'd be vaulting towards a $200 million market cap or larger. That's what we're looking for. And that's the entry point in this company. The cash is there in the capital to get in the treasury to get results. When we hit and get news flow and produce these major milestone events, that's what all shareholders are looking for, is a major win with multiples. It's a risky game here, but the management are also big shareholders in the company, and we want to share and win with the gains of other people.